cash at the Federal Reserve. There is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. There is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Good morning, Bitcoins. Today is Monday, May 11th, 2020. We're here early. It's 9:35 a.m. The halvening was scheduled for May the 12th, but we're here on May the 11th because Bitcoin likes to go fast. Joining us are Dan and Josh. How's it going, Dan and Josh?
Awesome.
Oh man, it couldn't be better. I tell you what, it's only happens once every 4 years. You just really can't. I mean, how can you not be excited? I tell you what, there is one website called Bitcoin block halving or something.com, and I tweeted about this. They have one chance in 4 years to get some traffic, and they're down.
I shout out to thehalvening.com. This is the site that we looked at during the last Bitcoin halvening, and they've improved it quite a lot. Apparently, you can use the arrow keys to move the guys around. Maybe you can push B to get more balloons. I don't know. It looks really cool. It's bright yellow, and the Bitcoin halvening is in 16 blocks. That's estimated to be just 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 25 seconds. Hit the like button. Pound it if you want. Gently touch it. All those things. This is the World Crypto Network, and this is our second Bitcoin block halvening party. Our first Bitcoin block halvening party was in 2016. So you are joining a proud tradition of 2016, 2020 Bitcoin halvenings parties. As we do, we want to start off with Josh. Josh, you were here for last time, the 2016 halvening party, and I know that in 2012, you were in Germany. What were you doing for the first Bitcoin halvening? What can you tell us kind of about Bitcoin halvening history? What's it been like?
It's book-ended with FUD. Like basically you get weeks and weeks of FUD leading up to it. And people saying, ooh, miners are going to drop out. Hash rate is going to crash. You're going to get this feedback loop of down, down, down. Sell, sell, sell. On the other hand, you've got people speculating on it going up, and it's an exciting trip. It is a roller coaster, folks, and never forget that. But never don't put so much in the bank. Only put so much in the bank that you're willing to lose. That's my motto. Speculate everything on Bitcoin and gold and real assets. No, that's not investment advice, folks. This is just halvening hype.
We're also joined by Dan Eve, the Crypto Raptor. This is your first halvening with the World Crypto Network. How's it going so far?
Well, it's going great because about last night, about midnight, I was still looking to be up at 3 a.m. or something. So I was going to even tweet begging miners to like turn their machines off so that it delays it until tomorrow, the next morning. But it looks like they've all read my mind. And so I'd also like to introduce my quarantine haircut. It's actually in memory of Joe, what's his name? Joe Dingham. Joe Exotic. But because I got fed up with my hair, I shaved a mullet.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's the halvening mullet.
Very American, the halvening mullet.
I didn't quite get to half of my hair. But yeah, I'll finish it later after the halvening party, maybe.
Very cool.
All right. And we've got everything going on today on the halvening. Let's see. Well, we have a major announcement. I'm going to talk about it over and over again, but let's go ahead and get it out of the way right now while no one is here. Major announcement. We're launching a store. That's right. The World Crypto Network .store, or you can just find it on Teespring. It's going to be in the links down below soon enough. Teespring is linked up with YouTube. So just really briefly, let's talk about the products we made. There's a mug with the new logo and the old logo. There's the classic WCN t-shirt. And then there's something new that you've never seen before. And we're probably going to talk about this later on. So here's the mug. It's got the new logo and the old logo. I thought that'd be pretty fun.
Can't see it. Are you switching?
You can't see it, but I can see it. There's a lot of buttons here. Let's see. I'll just give you this. Here's this. Well, but see, then you all disappear. So no, that's not going to work.
Wow, that's a crazy desk. That is a mad.
Oh,
mad...
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on. So let's stop that one. Yeah, I can't quite screen share. You guys need to open it up and watch on delay, I think is the best. So be sure to mute the thing. But there's WCN,
there's
the
been
t-shirt.
Suspicious activity on my account, so I'm just sorting that. Crazy people on the Halvening party as well, trying to distract me.
I know.
And here it is, the brand new Treasures Don't Float, the t-shirt, inspired by a speech I gave in Romania, where I was joking about the famous idea that many people have lost their keys in boating accidents.
Yeah,
we came up with this idea, my friend Nind and I, and thanks to my friend Philippe for making it happen into a real t-shirt design. So there it is, Treasures Don't Float, our new t-shirt. We also have a brand new special 2020 Bitcoin halving design from Bitcoin Not Bombs and Davi Barker. I reached out to Davi and I said, hey, can we do a new Bitcoin Not Bombs shirt? He said, well, I only do unique designs. And I said, okay, well, you make us a unique design. And Davi came through. So you can check those out at World Crypto Network store or worldcryptonetwork.store. There's a link in the chat. It's just Teespring. It doesn't take Bitcoin. I know, blah, blah, blah. But it's print on demand. So,
Jeremy Saga saying, wow,
come on,
they
Jeremy,
priced in
come
sats. Come on.
So let's see. They've got 14 blocks left. The blocks are just crushing right here. We're going to have to find a new website, something with the blocks and who they're being mined by, so we can get you some more information. So hopefully you guys can work on that, either somebody in the chat or somebody in the other chat. We're also going to be inviting the entire audience on the show, as well as anyone you'd like us to invite from Twitter right now. So if you want to let us know in the chat, who would you like to see? Who would you like to hear from in this 2020 Bitcoin halvening party, the halvening party of the people? We don't have any fancy corporate sponsors. We don't have any expensive VR gear. We just have this YouTube and this Zoom thing that I'm paying for. Fortunately, we have this amazing Restream thing that Josh made us buy. So now we're on Periscope, Facebook, Periscope again, and YouTube. So we're on Twitter on @MadBitcoins. We're on Twitter @WorldCryptoNet. We're on Facebook. So give us a thumbs up and a share. We have about 50 people watching in the YouTube chat. So give us a thumbs up. Join the YouTube chat. Let us know what's going on. Josh, Dan, what do you guys want to do? What should we do next? We're already down to 14 blocks. It's getting a little exciting.
It's getting crazy. These guys have busted out their abacuses. They're going nuts. A whole lot of Chinese people are starting to through their abacuses, trying to find those hashes, trying to find those zeros leading the hash. It's an exciting time for the abacus. I think the abacus is going to make a comeback.
So, Josh, what's really happening right now? Why are these blocks moving faster?
No, well, block times are an amazing science, actually. I always was very, very astounded with Satoshi's ingenious way of calculating the ability to find the probability of finding a hash with a certain number of zeros. That's how you get difficulty in the Bitcoin space. So the next hash has to get the number of transactions, the last hash of the block, plus a nonce. A nonce basically calculates from 0, 1, 2, 3, and hashes every time, 3, 4, 5, until it finds a hash with a bunch of zeros on the end, on the start. And if it gets more difficult, they add an extra 0. And the fascinating thing here is that the more hashing power you get, the quicker that would happen, right? So it readjusts around about every 2 weeks to add an extra 0, take a 0 away. And it's amazing to me that you can calculate the probability of finding a hash through how many people are, exahashing away. And I always find that extremely, extremely interesting.
It does seem like they've fired up every single miner they could find. The entire Bitcoin network's going crazy. It's supposed to be every 10 minutes on average. It seems much faster than that. Of course, we're trying to set up the show. We're trying to invite people. I was trying to fix the t-shirt shop just before we got done. So There you go. We're going to turn it around here. We're up to 60 live viewers. Thanks for giving us a thumbs up and a share. We've got a lot planned for you. We want to invite the audience. We want to invite some people from the internet. We've got the chat going. Let me get the chat up on the big screen here. Got a lot of screens. A lot of things are going here. We're trying to get a better mining calculator or mining something like that so we can show you who is mining these blocks, why they're going down so much, and why it's happening so fast. Everyone is in a hurry to get to the halvening. Every miner out there wants their last taste of these delicious 12 and a half Bitcoin blocks. I almost said 25, but that was 4 years ago. 12 and a half Bitcoin blocks are suddenly becoming 6.25 Bitcoin blocks. Let me tell you from experience, this is the most boring thing imaginable. Absolutely nothing's going to happen for the halvening. Hopefully these guys here with the rocket ship will have better animation than they did last time. I think last time they crashed and we watched a number roll over. So get ready for that. We're going to do our best to distract you from that reality. This is like a Conan O'Brien type show here where it's just so much is going on and a lot of it is just watching numbers turn over. So,
Hey, look, this is what nerds and geeks and hackers and engineers and freedom lovers, they love to watch numbers ticking over. It's one of the most exciting things you can imagine for these type of folk.
I think I've got an alternative theory. Well, obviously the hash rate at the moment is like 2 or 3 exahash off of the all-time high. I actually think that all this talk of hash has made Cheech and Chong come out of hiding, and like they're the ones pumping the rate at the moment.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is all the people that have got their little USB ant miners. I've literally got an ant miner which I was going to plug in just in case, like the craziest chance I hit the first block. You know, that would be incredible on the little USB ant miner.
Yeah, well, I've had this idea for a while and I really want to throw it out there for someone to take with it and run with it because I think it's brilliant. Everyone should simply, someone should create these USB miners or buy a hell of a lot of the old school ant miners like you have, and basically sell them as lottery tickets, solo mining, because you still have, I think, a better chance of finding a block with those than you do winning the lottery. And you could sell them for probably like $20, and you enter the lottery every 10 minutes. So it's fantastic. You'll probably, never find a block, but you could. So that's exciting. Run with it, folks. Run with it.
No, I think that's the most amazing thing is that as long any piece of hardware can actually do it, even if it's like one hash per second, 1 hash per minute. But if you've got that one specific hash worked out, before any other miner, then boom, that's it. So it's not the size. It's not the size of your hash. Yeah. It's something else.
It's what you do with it.
What you do with it. Yeah. It's how you hash it.
Yeah. It's how you smoke it.
All right, I think we're getting closer to a list of the blocks. It's from btc.com right now. We're trying to find out what the most recent block is and what's going on. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, it seems to be different on different websites. It's one of these crazy things where you have a worldwide network of truth, but websites can't seem to tap into that truth. It's hilarious.
Oh, we are just trying to find out what the most recent block is and who mined it. Right now, I think that it was relayed by Poolin, the new pool. Let's see, 511, 936. So the last block was at 936. That's about 12 minutes ago. So now we're really rolling. We're starting to get in it. So.
Yeah. Hey, this is a great stream. Thanks, Ash. Love your work.
All right.
Nice. Give us a thumbs up. There's 26 of them. 76 yeah, there we go. I just thumbed up myself. That sounds wrong.
Let's see.
So Tom, any doomsday prophecies? Have you seen any articles of FUD that are saying that there's going to be a problem with the halving? Because I've seen some relatively good reporting on it actually from the mainstream, but not
Like
too much
that
kind
it
of,
won't
apart from
work,
the mining spot.
or that the miners won't make money.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah, but
there's
the mining
always this
spiral has
kind
been
of
proved wrong twice before.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, there's always this idea that if the price doesn't go up enough, that no one will mine Bitcoin because the reward is going down by half. As you can see right here, we do have the current blocks on the screen right now. You can see the reward is 12.5 Bitcoin plus this other number, which I assume to be the fees. That all the fees in the block add up to, it looks like 0.49, 0.7, 0.8, 0.7. There's a decent amount of Bitcoin in these fees, at least as a normal person, not probably as a Bitcoin miner with a massive, gigantic set of Bitcoin machines running all the time. But we are keeping a track on this. Go ahead, Dan.
But what's interesting is that, well, the more the halvenings go on, it looks like the more the ratio of fees to rewards goes up. So I don't know. I think it's a good sign that those fees are quite hefty because it means the miners are getting an extra 8% subsidy effectively on the fees.
That is a good idea. Looking at it on the percent wise, that's definitely the way to go, I think.
Yeah, that's this is the constant fear that people have about the Lightning Network, is that Lightning will take away fees from the miners. But as I'm been using the Lightning Network for the last 2 years, it's really wonderful because I am constantly opening and closing different channels to try. Obviously it's early days, so there's more opening and closing. But it's just wonderful to be able to pre-confirm transactions and then be able to spend like crazy, and they're instantly there. They're already confirmed. And that little bit of fee still trickles down for the routing nodes that want to then close channels and pay them back to miners. So I think it'll still all work out.
Did we have a block, Dan?
I think we did 13. Yeah, 13. So Paul Dath has just mentioned we got block 13 to go. Ooh,
we don't have a noise. I mean, we have.
What was it? What about Bitcoinal? Doesn't that have an effect every time a block comes?
It shows a little graphic-y thing.
Oh, a graphic. We need a ding. Okay, I'll get a chime. So if someone just reminds me in the chat, and I'll make some sort of noise. Maybe I'll have to freestyle it. So,
well, just use your computer.
Says...
the computer.
Oh, an applause. There we go. Yeah, applause.
Applause. We got.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm rapidly copying and pasting invitations to people. So people all over the world right now are seeing a random Twitter DM from someone they haven't seen a DM from in a long time, and they're considering if they want to join our show. So we're going to keep an eye on that Zoom invite in the corner. We're going to try to do this in layers, but pretty soon we're going to just put the link out there, and everyone is welcome. This is the People's Party. So let us know in the chat what you'd like us to do, who you'd like us to invite, if the show's missing anything. Looks like right now we're mainly talking about Burning Man. That's what Bitcoin's always about, Burning Man.
Man, I remember the first Bitcoin tent, and I think you set it up, Thomas. Is that right? I can't remember.
We were
and then
there.
People wanted to make a Dogecoin or something because it was more fun.
We were definitely there for Camp Bitcoin. Later turned into Camp Dogecoin. They had a big red rocket. And it was the fun guys from the Distributed Dance Party, Tom and Gary. Yeah. And they're still going with the DDP. It's a great idea. They put these backpacks on with radio transmitters, and then they carry around a bunch of boom boxes, and they have an instant party in a public place. And they're all about not taking drugs and just having a good time. You don't have to drink. You just have the music and you dance, and they wear funny costumes like banana peels and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a great time at Camp Dogecoin. I think that was in 2016 or 2017 or something. It's been a while. But yeah, we had a great time out there, Burning Man. And it's also a neat story. Josh visited me at Burning Man, and Josh found me somehow. It's the craziest story. Burning Man's really big. I don't know if you guys are capable. It's like a city. There's 30,000 people there. So if you're trying to find somebody, like I looked for Brock Pierce on 2 separate years, and I couldn't find him either time. I found his camp, and I found people who said they knew him, but he wasn't there. But
No.
Josh, you had a different experience. How about you tell the people that?
Man, it was so weird because I'd never met you in person. You know, we talked and chatted online, and I've got to go meet Thomas. And then I walk out of my tent, and I think, right, I'm going to go meet Thomas. Everyone said I'm crazy. I just walked off down some street, and suddenly there's this chocolate wheel. You know, those wheels that you go and you get a prize. And oh, this looks fun. Yeah, what do you want to do? And they spun the wheel, and I won some prize. And I went over and we started talking, and they said, oh, what do you do? And I said, oh, I do stuff with crypto, Bitcoin. Oh, our friend does something with Bitcoin. I was like, really? What's his name? Thomas, he's over here. And then Thomas starts walking over, and I'm like, hey. It was really like, what? When does that happen? Yeah.
It was pretty unbelievable to find somebody like that in such a big place. I had the same experience my first year. I kind of knew where my friend was, and I'd parked my car, and I'd started, looking in concentric circles, and I heard a laugh, and I was like, could that be? Is that my friend's laugh? Is this really, how it's going to go? And sure enough, it was my friend. I found her. My camp was right where I parked. I was right perfect. I mean, I didn't go out and find them right there. I did a lot of like casual walking around. But then I found them, and then it worked out, and it was awesome. So it was a great time. But yeah,
I was in Glasgow for I can't remember what year it was. I was walking along with my mate, and the crowd, crowds are heaving down the main paths, and my mate goes, "Hey, Dan, that's Bruce Springsteen." Bruce Springsteen, and he he was quite tall, so he stood out, and I went, "Hey everybody, it's Bruce Springsteen," and he looked at me with daggers, and like everyone went, autograph, and I just sat there and watched the chaos and felt awful afterwards.
Yeah.
But
hey everybody, I think who was that? There was some celebrity, and someone did that in Australia to him, and he said, "You fucking cunt!" Like, just sorry guys, but just really yelled at this guy. So yeah, I mean, you want to be a little bit anon in some places.
Yeah, he should have had a better hat.
Yeah, shouldn't have worn that hat saying, "Hey, I'm Bruce."
So it's Burning Man. Do you think that's going to be? Is that already meant to have been cancelled, or do you think it'll be?
Yeah,
canceled?
it's already been canceled. They canceled Burning Man. They also canceled DEF CON. So yes, everything's falling. But let's just let's hope they'll be back next year, right? I mean, next year it's going to be good. So
next year
we're still sending out lots of announcements on Twitter. It doesn't look like any of them are working yet. So hopefully people are checking their Twitter DMs.
Could you put the link in the chat here in the Zoom chat, and I'll forward it out to a bunch of people.
The Zoom chat's not the best. The Telegram chat's better.
Oh right, okay.
But I can put it.
Telegram chat then.
I can put it in here for now, and then if anyone gets to the Zoom, it will be there. So, checking out Bitcoin, we still have 13 blocks to go. Let's do a little check of the price. We haven't even really looked at the price yet today. The price of Bitcoin is up 1.44% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 8,595, a high of 9,142, and a low of 8,296. That's $1 for 11,633 satoshis. Volume is pretty high, but not as high as yesterday, with 16,735 Bitcoins trading hands. The market continues to lean margin long, with 82% of the market going that way. The halving, as Bitcoinal has been correctly reporting, while every other website has been wrong, is scheduled for May the 11th at 12:06 p.m. right now, with 13 blocks remaining. Exciting stuff, guys.
Yeah.
See, there's no one in the invite.
I'm trying to find a real-time hash rate as well, because it's
that would be good. We could use a hash rate chart.
Sure.
We do have from BTC.com. We have the pool, and we have presumably the latest block. The last few blocks were mined by Poolin, F2 Pool, BTC.top, and btc.com.
Ooh, actually, so Bit Info Chart is they're saying the exahash rate best, all time best is 133 exahash, and currently 125 now. So it's slightly different numbers to blockchain.com, but it's very close.
All right, do you have
Those
a link for
miners are
that?
pumping.
Send me a link here. Come on.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we're still looking at the blocks, keeping an eye on everything. This is the Bitcoin Halvening party on the World Crypto Network. Thanks for giving us a thumbs up and a share. This really is the little party that could, or as I like to say, the little party that can. It's more positive that way. And we don't have any big sponsors. We don't have anyone to schedule or organize this. We didn't even really get invitations out to our own people. Josh, I know, Dan, you guys just rolled out of bed. I forced you to be on the air here. That's pretty much the way we do it around here. So that's why we need your help with the thumbs up and the shares. We've got 110 people watching us on YouTube right now. It doesn't show me information for Periscope, but hello to Twitter and hello to Facebook as well. If you want to give us a share and a like, we're out on the Facebooks. We're watching the Bitcoin halving, which is now down to 12 blocks. We have another block, ladies and gentlemen, another block. Let's get a cool sound for that. Let's keep an eye on those blocks. They are coming in fast, much faster than 10 minutes a block. At least that's my take. It seems like we've been on about half an hour. I think we've had at least 6 to 8 blocks. So it's really going.
Yeah, it's usually really slow when I'm waiting for something to confirm. Like I was really bad at paying the bills, and I'd leave it until like the last minute before I went overdrawn to then do like a sell Bitcoin to get some fiat, and it would always be like an hour in between. I'd be like, come on, like now an hour, really?
There was the DJ booth celebration on Bitcoinal. For the blocks, we're down to 12. Yeah. That's another block.
Really, just like that, bang bang.
Right after another. Let's look at the pool statistics here. Refreshing the page. Let's see, block times. It looks like we had a back-to-back block at 9:36. That was 9:36 and 39 seconds, followed by 9:36 and 47 seconds. Then we had a block at 9:50, followed by another block at 10 o'clock. So that would be a more 10-minute block. But we are seeing... we saw a 4-minute block. We saw a 7-minute block. We saw another 4-minute block. And then before that, we had looks like a 6-minute block, a 1-minute block. We've seen some very fast blocks today. And again, this is because all the miners are turning on their equipment, trying to get those last 12.5 Bitcoin rewards before it goes down to 6.25. Warning ahead. It seems like we're racing ahead, and this show is going to be over in no time. As we get closer to the last block or so, it doesn't make as much sense to run this much mining equipment. Essentially, the mining competition is all about these 12 blocks. So if you really look at it, I'd say there's about 10 before you start shutting things down, right? So the last couple blocks, last time, historically, the last couple blocks were slow, and that we got to the end, and we limped across the line. So we'll see how it goes.
This is what a lot of people said in the early days, the last halving even. And really, we've just seen more and more and more and more and more and more hash power smashing it. The thing is that what we're seeing now is a transition across to renewables, across to cheaper energy, across to power stations that have excess power. We saw that one in the upper New York, I think. They put 7,000 S17 miners in there because they've got a whole bunch of power that they basically waste at the end of the day. And because there's always a buffer of power in case there's spikes. So this buffer, why just throw the buffer away? Why not just keep mining Bitcoin and then shut Bitcoin miners down as you need less buffer or more buffer? So this will probably happen where people will sell maybe miners that aren't so good for them anymore, but power stations will just grab them. They'll say, well, we're going to throw the energy out anyway. We might as well chuck it through this ASIC.
It is
Yeah,
amazing that. Go ahead, Stan.
Oh, sorry. I was going to agreeing about the excess power. Once if you've got electricity's extremely cheap, or it's free because it's complete excess, or from whatever arrangement you've got. If you've already bought the hardware, then your running costs are a lot lower than someone who's actually paying for normal electricity. And also maybe we are seeing a bit more of a shift to Bitcoin miners who are thinking about the long-term effects of the halvening, and being the clever squirrels that stack their nuts for the winter. Maybe
stack them up. Yeah,
stacking sats for the winter. Exactly. Yeah. Stacking sats for the Bitcoin winter.
Yeah, and this is not, Bitcoin has multiple winters. There's the startup winter when it goes down, and the crypto scene, every startup that is based around Bitcoin suffers during these winters, and they really need to squirrel away satoshis, or sometimes cash, probably gold or cash or something stable, because your fiduciary duty is not to speculate, according to some philosophical CEOs, but it is to build a solid business that generates revenue. And it's a difficult one. I'm always battling with investors in Voltoro. Do we hold a little bit of Bitcoin? And they're like, oh, you got to, so it's always difficult. But squirreling away some money for those winters, for those crypto winters, is a really important thing to do. And now we have this new. Actually, one thing that's very, very different about this halving, folks, is that for the first time, exchanges will be the ones selling more into the market than miners. Exchanges per day are about 1,200 Bitcoin, and that need to sell selling pressure to cover costs and servers and people. So this is a very interesting dynamic now. Where does the selling pressure come from, and how does that affect the game theoretical security model?
Well, and Josh, where do the exchanges get those funds? Why do they have to sell?
They get it from fees, from also market making. If they're market making to add liquidity, they're trading back and forth. They're taking risk in market making, and fees. So they gather fees, and at the end of the day, I mean, I'm talking 1,200 Bitcoin across every single exchange, not one exchange. This is a solid full number of every exchange.
So the exchanges are taking in Bitcoin, then they cut off a little piece of that for the fees. Then, of course, they have to sell that into fiat so they can pay all their bills, which are in fiat. So, like you're saying, it is a pressure on the exchanges. Even if you were like Joe Bitcoin Exchange and you love Bitcoin, you need to sell to get that fiat to pay your employees or your janitors or anybody who won't take that straight Bitcoin. Early on, a lot of companies worked a lot harder to try to give their employees Bitcoin and do that kind of thing, but it's really complicated, and it's a lot easier usually to just say, okay, employees, here's a couple $1,000, go buy some Bitcoin on your own, right? Yeah,
well, back in the day, you didn't have this insane amount of regulation. You didn't have the tax man just looking down your cleavage, and so because it was very, very early days, this was just, there wasn't even money. It was some funny internet points, and people said, yeah, I'll do it for some internet points. And as it got more serious, of course, the tax man took it more seriously as well. And so then it starts to get difficult with paying people like that. I know that startups like blockchain.info in the early days only did paid Bitcoin to their employees. Satoshi Dias and a lot of Eric Voorhees's businesses were all Bitcoin and crypto, later on just crypto. So, I think this ethos needs to keep going, and I'm really hoping that the Lightning Network will take more and more of that piece of pie. That layer 2 solution is really good, guys. If you haven't played around with it, we just did 6-hour live streams yesterday at the Lightning Hack Sprints, and how fast this thing's moving now. And some of these strange UX problems, they're all getting solved. So check it out.
Yeah, I think I've been getting a bit more elbows greased in terms of Lightning, working with Ben on LM Bits, which is an incredible piece of software.
Yeah.
We actually hopefully will have it rolled out in our site reward portal next .com by the end of this week, in theory. But it's absolutely incredible. I absolutely love Lightning. Hence the noddle wrap as well.
Yeah, it's the noddle rap. We got to play that.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
gotta
we
get
got
it on.
all
Maybe I'll
kinds
do
of
it
things.
live, but I'll have to double check the lyrics because it's been a
Yeah.
while. I'm rusty. I'm all like COVIDed up, so quarantine, can't form sentences properly, that
I
sort of
know.
thing.
Beard to 16-meter long beard
Beard and mullet
and mullet. You can't go wrong with that. That's
for
just
Joey Exotic. This one's for
Yeah.
you, brother.
We also
yeah.
want to welcome
Crazy.
Traven to the conversation. Traven, are you with us?
Hey, Traven.
Hi, yeah, thanks for inviting me. I was watching the show and then was waiting for my delivery to come, so I'm delaying dinner a bit, but I couldn't miss out on this, so I'm with you guys for a few minutes. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Oh,
Welcome
nice.
aboard. Tell the people a little bit about yourself. When did you find out about Bitcoin and what did you think about when you found it?
Sure. So, well, I was working in tech support back in 2011, and a coworker of mine said, "Okay, Traven, you're into business and tech. You should take a look at this thing called Bitcoin." And he says, it's about $3. You should maybe buy some. And I said, oh, what can I use it for? And he said, well, you can buy stuff on Silk Road. And then he
alpaca socks, man. Alpaca socks.
Yeah, that's what he should have told me because back then I was still trying to immigrate to the States. I'm not American and I wanted to move there. And I said, I can't do this. I'm here. I need a clean record. And so I didn't go for it. And
it is kind of too bad that our first example site was such an illegal website where even if you as a good law-abiding guy want to go on there, maybe buy a magazine or something, just get, something unrelated, some raw milk or something. But no, It was always the Silk Road.
Well, but in 2013, I was doing web marketing and I was very happy. I got it published on this website called Search Engine Journal. I was doing very well. And then I see Bitcoin hits $1,000 and I just go bananas like, what the crap? That was $3. I had the opportunity to buy it for $3. And so I call him, he goes into voicemail and I was like, Aaron, asking him what happened to it and stuff. But basically it just started a rabbit hole into digging deeper into understanding what Bitcoin was, what it stood for. I mean, shortly after that, I moved to Fiji, which was in a dictatorship. And that's when I really saw the value of Bitcoin because there were so many businesses there that couldn't receive payments because PayPal and all of these other, money transfer organizations either just said no to transferring money to Fijian businesses, even if they were against the dictatorship. I mean, who would, most of these people are against the dictatorship and you're punishing them for living in a dictatorship, which they did not consent to. And so many small businesses went down. A lot of the small hotels and tour providers who were not affiliated with the large company that had an international, parent company, they could just route payments to. A lot of the large resorts just routed payments through Hawaii because you couldn't process payments in Fiji. But if they accepted Bitcoin, they could still continue with business because Bitcoin doesn't care. It's up to the person sending and the person receiving if that would be accepted. It's true peer-to-peer. And so that's why I'm around the space, and that's really what fuels me.
That's awesome, man.
It's like
it's
like the equivalent of normal money is the way it's managed. Bitcoin's P2P, but normal money it's like the equivalent of Demolition Man, where you're just about to speak about doing a money transaction, out of nowhere some government thing pops up and gives you a warning that you've got to abide by these rules. And it's not good, the current system we have. I like P2P. I like being in control of my money, in control of my transactions, not kicked around by banks or rejected. Especially, as we're still seeing now in the UK with blockchain, Bitcoin businesses being rejected by banks. So, it's crazy. The sooner we can be our own banks and transact P2P amongst businesses, amongst customers and freely, then the better.
Absolutely. I look forward to the day when people price things in Bitcoin or any other crypto, honestly, just so that we can move away from this broken system and take things forward.
We have more blocks. We are down to 9 blocks. We just had a couple of blocks, so let's get the block update. Then we can welcome a new guest on the show. Looks like we had a 10, 12, and 14 seconds block, followed by a 10, 12, and 29 seconds block. That's a 15-second block. That's pretty fast.